Oh, oh, getting tingles thinking about it. Nah.
Hello and welcome to our second episode. How exciting!
She's got her iced coffee. She's ready to fucking hit it.
I've got my hot chocolate.
Oh yeah, bitch.
I'm gonna drink
Have a
coffee.
quick puff.
Go for it. So today we're gonna talk about relationships. Not specifically, boyfriend, girlfriend, but also friendships. So sis, to get started, tell me something shady a partner or friend has done to you that still resonates with you and you're still a little bit salty about it. I'd like to know.
So I've actually got a couple of scenarios that come to mind. One is a friendship and one is like an ex-relationship that I used to have. So I'll start like with the friendship, right? I've been friends with this person for years, like family friends, we were always kind of just like forced to hang out. So like as we grew older, like naturally we just would hang out all the time. And something shady about this friend that didn't really sit right with me was just like lack of support, like quite jealous. Would always like put me down saying you can't do this, you can't do that, like, and making me really believe these negative things that they would say about me, and it really actually affected me, my mental health and my self-worth, really. What about you, sister? What's like a fucking cunt of a friend that you've had before? What did they do?
I have one story from high school. So it's kind of a long-winded story, but I'll kind of summarize it.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Wait, I've got something up my nose. I'm so fucking sorry. Start from the beginning.
Should we just? No, it's okay. Do you want like a few minutes to yourself?
I think she stopped tickling. I think it's over. I think. Keep the pardon.
Who should I? I have to tell you something. Oh my god, it's so fucking hilarious.
What?
So yesterday.
What?
So yesterday we had an earthquake, right? So it was like 9:15. Yeah. I was texting you like, congrats on your launch, and we're talking about it. And I feel shaking, and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm fucking dizzy. Like I'm really sick today. Because you don't think that's happening. It's a fucking earthquake.
Nah.
And
like
so I turn around. Yeah, I turn around and like I have a big whiteboard that's on wheels, and that's like moving, and I'm like, okay, I'm not dizzy, something's happening. And I hear my mom screaming, and so I run to her and I meet her at her door, which is not too far away. And she's like, I think that was an earthquake because my door was like, my closet door was moving. And then my brother's like in the room right opposite her, and we don't hear a peep out of that room. We're like, is he okay? Like we open the door. Oh, my mom and I have been laughing all day. And we see my brother in bed, and his hand is like this, like he's frozen, and he's like, help me, something's happening, help me.
Well, he probably thought someone rose from the dead and come to haunt him.
Yeah, he thought he was being possessed, the poor guy. Because when you kind of wake up from your sleep, you don't know what time it is, like if it's day or night, whatever. So he got shocked, and he thought that he was being possessed. Poor guy. My mom and I have been laughing.
Oh my god. Oh fuck, that's funny. Oh
no. Before that, my mom turned her like electric blanket on, and she thought she was being shocked. She thought she was being electrocuted.
What the bruh? We get a lot of earthquakes back home where I'm from in Napier.
Yeah.
And it was like November 2016. I remember it so fucking clearly. We had a big earthquake in New Zealand, and it like busted down a few buildings in like Kaikoura, I think.
Jeez.
And like, bro, the house was literally like fucking swaying. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was stoned as fuck, lying in bed, ready to go to sleep, you know, and then all of a sudden, woo, bruh, I fucking hate earthquakes.
Oh man, that was our first time experiencing something like that because we lived in Auckland and like we didn't really have any
Yeah,
earthquakes from what I remember. But that was our first time experiencing it, and we live in a double-story house, so obviously on the first level you'll feel it a bit more. So
yeah.
that was really scary. It was only for 20 seconds, but I think that was the most funniest like experience of my life. Like it was so funny. Just just a thought that comes into your head. The first thing is just the most hilarious thing. And all day my mom and I kept laughing about it, thinking back like to how we found it.
I wish you took a photo, bro. I so wish
I
you
wish
took a
I would have like
photo.
bought a body cam or something and just recorded the whole thing. That was the best thing ever. Anyways, going back to your question, I did have like I think I may have done something shitty, but you be the judge of that.
Yeah,
I'll tell you the story. So this was in high school. I think I was like a junior in high school, and we had like a friend that was a little bit older than us in high school. We all went to the all girls school together. And so she was kind of like in a relationship friendship with a guy, and she had told us that she was like using him for like his ride or like whatever it was. And this guy was so nice, and like we all got to know him, and I felt really terrible, like I felt really bad, so I told him.
and did you end up with him afterwards or no?
No, ew. He was just nice. He was ugly, but he was nice, you know.
Okay.
And I
Alright.
told him, like, I was like, she's using you, you know, like, and he didn't believe me, and he went and told her. And then since then, she's like had it, like, she like hasn't spoken to me since then. We're just not friends. I'm glad I'm not friends with her because she was toxic, and she was just the type of
Yeah.
person that would like use people, and I just didn't want to be a part of that, and I felt so bad because like I would never want to be used, and the fact that he didn't believe me.
I fucking hate users, sis. I fucking hate users.
I think maybe I did the shitty thing by going behind her back and like telling him, but I thought in that moment I was doing the right thing because I felt so terrible.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and that's the thing about a lot of like relationships and friendships that we'll have these days is like people are sick. People have ulterior motives, like they'll use you for like certain things or because of what you have or you know, but yeah, I mean I've experienced it hard out where people have used me for my clout, but like, you know, in the end, you know, I figured it out because of how they would treat me if I didn't give them what they wanted. And that was like a really big learning curve for me because I, you know, had to go through that to actually learn what the red flags are like in a friendship, in a relationship, and basically how to navigate through that without, you know, causing too much drama or, you know, being fucking dramatic because I'm quite like I'm a straight up person, you know, and I'll always lay all my shit out on the table. But when it comes to like real conflict, like I'm kind of like a fight or flight kind of girl, and like most of the time I'll just ghost people, and I just like and you know I've done it before. I don't even bother bringing up the situation. I am just the type of person who will be like, nah, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. Bye, block.
Yeah, you
That's
just
my
don't want to
toxic
waste
trait.
energy on like that drama of like having to explain why you don't want to be friends with them.
Nah, nah. And you know what? It's completely okay to do that, you know? And you don't owe anyone like an explanation. You don't owe anyone shit, really, you know. And if you know in your heart that you put in the most love and care into like a friendship or relationship, you know, you can walk away knowing that you tried your best. And at the end of the day, like sometimes some battles are just not worth fighting.
100%. So have you had any like shady like relationships, like a boyfriend that like they've
Oh, have I
done
what?
shady things? You've got lots?
Have I what? Oh, yeah, girl. Oh
What's one that
yeah.
stands
You
out?
know, like, girl, all right, I don't know. I don't know how to put this without sounding so fucking like crude. Like obviously I swear, but oh, I'll just come out and say it. So like back in the days, I was a bit of a slut, you know. But on the low key, right? But it ended up getting out that I suck dick. Okay, I suck dick. Yep, I love it. It's fun, whatever. And you know, a lot of the boys started to find out about this because they would all fucking talk.
Yeah.
And like all of a sudden, you know, when I would get guys hitting me up, you know, I'd be like, oh, that hot, you know, like yeah, yeah, yeah. And it would just be that shit. And they would like fully like ghost me until the next time. Um, were, you know, I felt used as fuck, like in the end, by like all the guys that I was seeing, which was like not just one, but that's not the point. Like I wasn't in a relationship with any of them. I wasn't committed to any of them. But yeah, in the end, I found that the whole like hookup culture. I mean, I'm for it. You do you, boo. You go get that dick. But like for me, I'm a Pisces. I'm a fucking crybaby. I love love. You know, I'm a bit of a goo gaga, and you know, these guys, like that to me was shady. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, like there were points where, you know, I thought that some of these men were going to be my fucking husband, but no, no, and I had to learn really quickly. You know, yeah, and I had to learn really, really, really quickly. You know what true love really was, because I always had the perception that sex is love and love is sex, and it's just it's not that. It's not that
No.
at all.
Mine is completely opposite. So like I haven't
Yeah.
been in that many like relationships. I've only been in like maybe 2 serious relationships.
Yeah, I mean, I've
And
only been in one serious relationship. Let's just put that out there.
yeah, like I've only been in 2 and I haven't really dated much either.
Yeah.
And like I had a friend. I wouldn't even call like this person like that I was dating this person or anything like and
Was this
I
at
had this.
uni?
Sorry? No, not at uni.
Was this
This
at
was
uni?
before uni.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
because I'll talk about the uni one too. So this was
Yeah.
a friend, and we would hang out all the time with a group of people. So it was never us solo. And we were all a
Yeah.
group of people. We were all close, and like you know, some drama happened, and the group split, and all that stuff. And we all stopped hanging out. But like me and this person would talk all the time. And this person had like a thing going on with somebody else in the group. And I had found out that from my cousin that the other person was like all the boys at his school knew her for being someone that you know gets around, and my friend didn't know that
Oh,
about
it's
her.
me.
And me being the shitty person I am told him, and I was like, you know, that's happening, right? And then they stopped talking, and then he was still talking to me, and then she found out, and she was like mad at me. And um and then he like we got really close. We were like besties, I would say. And then like we hung out once alone, and he was like, oh, I love you. You know what I said? I said thank you. I was like, thank you. can, can you take
Yeah,
me
but
back
see,
home?
sis, I love that you're like that because, yeah, I love that you're like that because I'm the complete opposite. And like, I used to fall in love like real fucking quick. Like, oh, ho, like after, oh, yeah, no. So I really admired your strength to not kind of fall into the trap of the gaga shit.
Yeah, and like he was like, oh, I love you and all this stuff. And like I was like, thanks, but like okay, can I go home now, kind of thing, you know, because I was uncomfortable at that point because I didn't know where this was coming from. And then he was like, oh, you need
Yeah,
to decide if you want to be with me. Like he gave me an ultimatum, and but then I had to be a secret. And I was like, no, 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 no. I'm not somebody's secret. I'm someone you take home to your mom. Okay, I'm old school, and that's the type of
yeah,
relationship I want. Like, I'm not
yeah,
doing that shit.
same.
And then he was just like so furious, was like driving super fast because I rejected him per se. And because I said thank you, and I was like, what the fuck?
Cry
I was
baby
so
fucking tantrum.
yeah, and I was like, I'm not your secret. Like, what the fuck do you think this is? I think that was pretty shady. And with the uni thing, we were friends for years. Like, even when like me and like my now husband had broken up at that time, this person was like, oh, I really like you, and I was like, no, you're my friend. Like, friend zoned him very clearly. And then when I came back to New Zealand, he was going to that uni, and he was like, oh, I see you're going to the uni, like we should meet up and hang out, like, you know, you probably don't have any friends here. And I was like, yeah, that's cool, because we've known each other for so long. And I thought he was over the whole like I like you stuff. And then I didn't know
They
that.
never get over it, sis. That's one thing I've learned. They never get over it. If they haven't had a turn, you know, they will not stop until they've had a turn, even if it's years. Even if it's years.
That's so weird to me, because I don't think like that. Like,
Neither.
I just had a genuine friendship, and then like we would hang out all the time and stuff like that. And then this was before like my husband and I got back together. And then there came a point where like my friends were being contacted by his girlfriend, who I didn't know existed. And because he was like, oh, you know, I don't have a girlfriend and stuff like that. But to me, we were always platonic. We were always friends. Nothing happened, just to put that out there. Nothing ever happened because I wasn't attracted to this guy. And yeah, and then like she was like, oh, that's my boyfriend. I was like, cool, like, and like it just because I was like, there's nothing happening, so what are you so worried about? So I don't know, she like contacted my friend, and then was like, stay away from him. And like he apologized to me, like, sorry I didn't tell you about her. I was like, you know, it's kind of not okay to hang out with a girl when you have a girlfriend. Like, you shouldn't do that. Like, you should be clear, like, you have a girlfriend. No. I should meet her, like, you know, we all should be friends kind of thing. And I just thought that was so shady of him. And like he was like, I told my dad what I did, and like I am so sorry and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't care.
What's
like,
in the middle?
Yeah, and like it was so weird because he would like introduce me to his friends at uni and be like, oh, this is my friend Paz. And like none of them like mentioned his girlfriend. Not that I want to be his girlfriend, but it was kind of shady. That's fucked up.
Yeah, that is really fucked up. And you know, sis, like I was actually talking to my friend about this last night, because she's seeing a new man and he's lovely, you know, he's kind, he's sweet, he goes out of his way for her, and it's actually, I'm really happy for her. And you know, men are wired completely different from women, you know, and where I've found is that, you know, you really can't have like a platonic relationship with a man these days. If you're like, you know, straight woman, straight man, you can't have like a platonic relationship. It's just like, I've never, ever had a guy friend who doesn't want to fuck me. Okay, like that's just the tea. That is just the tea. And you know, it's hard because like I don't like, yeah, okay, like sex is good, sex is like fun and whatever, but like I don't want to do it with like every single of my guy mate. You know, some of them I know them so well that I think that they're fucking gross. You know what I mean? And it's like it's so hard to, you know, to try and like decipher whether a guy is there just for sex or if a guy is there just to be like your friend, or if a guy wants to be with you. You know, guys, I find guys are actually quite like open and honest about what they want. Like guys will usually come out and say it, like maybe in like a really roundabout way, but you really actually have to listen to what they say and how they say it, and you know, like, because I've always like, I guess, struggled because my partner, surprise guys, I have a boyfriend, but you know, my partner, he's not like a very verbal person, whereas like I love to hear, you know, like cute things like all the time because I'm goo goo gaga Pisces, crybaby as fuck. But my partner shows his love in a way that I'm not used to. Like he's like an acts of service kind of guy and will literally fucking do anything for me. But like I never put, you know, the two and two together that you know, that's his love language. You know what I mean, sister?
Yes, love language, so important because everyone's love language is so different. so different.
Way different.
Like my husband, he's like kind of like your partner. Like he's very quiet. He doesn't have a lot of friends. He just doesn't believe in friendships. He just thinks it's a waste of time. And I'm completely opposite.
Same.
Because I rely on my friends so much. I need that contact, you know. I need friendships,
Me
solid
too.
friendship. But he's completely opposite to me,
too.
and his like love language is different to mine. Mine is like I want affection, and like I want him to show me. I need to physically see that you love me. You can tell me you love me all the time, but like it doesn't mean shit to me. I need to see it. And for him, it's like I said I loved you like 30 weeks ago. What do you mean? You know? So it's different, and you kind of have to compromise. Kind of like understand each other, because like I feel like us girls, even he married me, you know, I'm still like, do you still love me? You know, it's just
right.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like, we were married 3 years ago. What do you mean? We're still married. Treat yourself like a queen before you let someone else into your life, because how are they going to treat you like a queen when you don't treat yourself like a queen? So I think it's understanding your partner, what kind of love they want, and giving that to them. Because if you don't do that, then they're going to be unhappy. They're never going to understand you, or you're never going to understand them, because you're different to them. You're not supposed to be the same person. That's boring. So when you come into a relationship, it's not like, oh, I need gifts. I need you to, you know, kiss the floor I walk on. I need you to do A, B, and C, but I'm not going to do nothing for you. That just doesn't work. So it's about communication. You need to communicate. Because I've had issues in my relationship. It's not all butterflies and daisies and fucking rainbows. Marriage is hard. It's all about, is it worth it to stick together at the end of the day and work through your problems and come to a better understanding? Or is it just, okay, we're not doing this anymore, it's not working? So that's like, I feel like some people that I've seen, they just, in their relationship, they expect the world, but they don't give it back.
100%.
I just don't understand that. I don't know if you've experienced that, but I just don't get that.
Like, when I'm in a relationship, sis, like, I'm like actually quite a private person, contrary to, you know, like I post my life up online, you know, like I'm kind of like in the public eye a little bit, and, you know, keeping my relationship to myself and like off social media has been honestly like the best decision that I ever made, because, you know, I'm not the type of person that needs the validation from everyone else that my relationship's good. I need to know within my heart that, you know, my relationship is solid, and the person that I'm, you know, I love the person that I'm with, and, you know, figuring out your love languages and figuring out how like you communicate with each other, and the things that you like and the things that you do together, and, you know, all the bonding time that you do is just, it's so important. And people just jump into relationships and think like, oh yeah, I'm just with this person, but it's like a lot deeper than just, you know, posting up cute couple selfies on fucking Instagram. You know what I mean? Because behind the cute couple selfies, there's shit. You know, there's bullshit going on. And that is why I'm so firm on keeping my relationship to myself, because like all I need to know is that me and my partner are solid. I don't need everyone else's validation. I don't need everyone to be like chipping in, chiming in, you know. And that's why I feel like it's so important to, I don't know, like people air their dirty laundry out on the internet. And, you know, like I watch other influencers who like put their relationships out there and shit, and I just don't want to have to explain if like my partner and I aren't together anymore. You know what I mean? And like some people let their relationship be like a personality trait and let them consume them. You have to exist as your own individual person outside of the relationship as well. You know?
Yeah. Yes. I think sometimes
Sorry, I feel like I went on a different tangent there.
No. People, you know, sometimes people put up a front of like, you know, my life is perfect. My relationship is perfect. Look at us. Look at this picture. We're so happy. Look at all the things that we have. And sometimes, you know, they can turn out to be the most unhappiest couple ever. And I'm like learning to, you know, get a better understanding of my relationship, my marriage, and like we've done therapy to kind of better understand each other, because even if we're married and Nav and I have been together since I was like 16, 17, on and off, and like that's a long time. We know each other quite well, I want to say, and like we have a baby together, and I want to make sure that we have a foundation, a solid foundation for our relationship. So if any problems come up, we're able to understand, let's communicate, let's have a discussion. And these are your issues, these are my issues. Where can we meet in the middle? I think that's the most important thing. It's not about, I want to have it my way and that's the only way, because that's never going to work out for anybody. How do you guys communicate when it comes to issues?
So I feel like the media, and sorry, like I'll get to my point, but I feel like the media really romanticizes the whole, like, the fighting and the makeup sex and the breaking up and the getting back together and all that shit. But at the end of the day, that shit is so exhausting. You would not believe. Like, it just will slowly wear you down. And where I'm at with my relationship, I, we feel, well, I feel like we're in a really good place at the moment, and I feel like we're like really communicating, like we're both doing well. Yeah, we sit down and we talk about it. Like obviously we argue. There's things that we disagree on, but like that's healthy. Like to a certain extent. Like obviously there's points where it can be abusive, and you just have to listen to your intuition about that sort of stuff. But honestly, sitting down, having a really good chat about like goals and like where you guys see yourself in the future, and even making sure that both of your goals in life align is just so important. Because if you're with someone who is not willing to come to the party, don't fucking bother this, because you can't change him. He's not going to change just for you, you know?
Yeah. 100%, 100%. And you can try and make it work. And, if they change, great. But most of the time, they don't want to change because that's what they've known all their life.
Nah.
And you can, people, if they haven't changed in, like, let's say you've known them for, like, I don't know, 10, 15 years. If they haven't changed in those years, they're not likely to change at all. It's just not going to happen.
They're not going to.
No. And I think you need to find someone or be in a relationship with someone with the same kind of values as you, like when it comes to like, I want to do this with my life. Because then you can work together to get there, instead of you feeling like I'm fucking, dragging everybody along and, they're weighing me down while I'm trying to climb up the ladder.
Yeah, it's a team effort, and that's what a lot of people, if me and my partner are having an argument, or, like we argued before we got to like a party or something, I don't know, regardless of like what the fuck goes down that night, or, whatever, that's my man's and I got his back. You know what I mean? And like, you've always got to be a team. You've always got to be like a united front. And just, work together towards the mutual goals that you share.
100%. And I think we need to touch on like domestic violence. We did the question box. I don't know if you read a few of them, but there was one where she experienced, domestic violence. Also while she was at uni, so she had to like drop out. And it was like one of the shadiest thing a person has done to her in a relationship is, it doesn't have to be physical either. Emotional abuse, talking down to somebody, calling them names, making them feel less than. I've experienced it, and I can tell you straight off the bat, when your mental health isn't right and you're experiencing that as well, it can lead to things like suicidal ideation. Like you just don't want to be there anymore because it's just too hard to deal with. But I want people to understand that you're not alone. There's a lot of people, I don't want to just say women, because men go through it as well. There's a lot of people that go through those things. And if you are going through those things, it's okay to ask for help. It's more than okay to ask for help. There's so much help available. It's just up to you to ask for it. Don't think that you have to stay in that situation, because you don't. You never have to. You can leave that situation, and you don't have to do it alone. you can reach out to your family, reach out to your friends if you're not comfortable talking to your family. There's helplines that you can call that will help you. If you can afford a therapist, or if you can see a therapist free of charge, see them. They will help you as well. They'll give you the tools to get out of that
Counseling
situation.
is so good.
Oh,
Counseling and
yeah.
therapy is so good,
Yes.
because it can teach you what your triggers are. It can, they can raise points to you that you would never have thought of. Because I grew up in a very abusive home, and the relationships around me, like my aunties and uncles, my nanas and granddads, and my parents, they were all abusive and all very unhealthy and very toxic. So as an adult, I've had to really learn or unlearn all that shit that I saw growing up, because when I moved out of home, like my family is chaotic. I grew up with having police around at my house all the fucking time, parties all the fucking time, drinking all the fucking time, and then on Sunday we'd put our fucking best face on, and our good Christian, facade, and we'd sit in a church, and like my parents really distorted my view on like what like true love is. And I've really had to dig deep with like counseling and therapy, and through my own learning as to what like a healthy relationship looks like, because it's not fucking like throwing your mum up the fucking hallway, and having police around all the time, like I was shocked at, after I left home, at how other people lived, that they didn't have police around all the time. They didn't have fighting and arguing all the time. And I really had to like unlearn that shit, because when I first got into my first serious relationship, I brought a lot of that shit with me. And because I didn't know any better, I didn't know jack shit. Um, and, I would put up with the things that my boyfriends, the ones that I'd have like a few months, I would put up with their shit. Um, until I realized that it just wasn't normal and wasn't healthy.
Yeah, I think I'm in a similar, like my upbringing was kind of similar to yours.
Yeah,
And we thought it was normal to experience abuse and all that stuff, like the drinking and hitting your wife and things like that. So like
yeah,
I just thought it was normal. And sometimes I do bring that into my relationship. Sometimes I do bring the arguing into my relationship. And sometimes you have to
same.
take a step back and be like, stop, this is, you are running away from this, because I don't want to be like that. I don't want to, I don't want my child to grow up scared of us, because that's what we had to
Nah,
do. I don't want
yep,
to
same
live in
sis.
fear any longer, and I don't want him to be fearful of like, oh, mom and dad are gonna fight again. Like I'm gonna see something that I shouldn't be seeing. I don't want to put him
Yeah,
in that situation. So I go to therapy. I'm happy to let the world know I go to therapy, because it's been so helpful for me to
same.
figure out what, like you said, what my triggers are, because I have anxiety, and sometimes I don't know what my triggers are. I don't know what triggers it. And like, people are like, why are you having anxiety? I'm like, I don't know. It's just happening. And sometimes you don't know. It's fine. But it's helped me get some tools and figure out, okay, if I'm having anxiety, what do I need to do? Do I need to step away? One thing that helps me is to play with my husband's beard. It just distracts me, and I'm not thinking about like anything
Yeah,
apart from that feeling of like touching his beard. I don't know. It's been years I've been doing that.
yeah.
It just helps a lot. And I think
Hmm.
I'm better now. I don't have that many like panic attacks anymore. And I've just kind of understanding like who I am as a person kind of helps a lot too, because I never focused on myself, I think. And I think that's the big thing that most of us don't
Neither.
do. We don't focus on ourselves. We live for other people sometimes. And that's just, fuck that,
Whew,
man.
yep.
What for? Like, they say, oh, I put my
Fuck
kids
that,
first.
sis.
But you need to put yourself first in order to put your kid first. Because if you're not, what type of
Yep. Because
environment
you
are
can't
you?
be your best self for that
Yes.
person.
Yes. So it's not, no, I don't put my kid first. I put myself first so that I can be the best person I can be for him. And that's what's most important. And like, I don't know, I just grew up around very toxic relationships, and I haven't really known that many like good relationships where I can say like, wow, like there's no fault in that relationship. Everyone has faults and stuff, and domestic violence, I wish it wasn't a thing, but it is. It's prominent, especially like in our island communities. It's a normal thing. And the fact that like most of the women, they stay in these marriages because what is everyone else going to think? If I leave my husband, if I leave my child, what is everyone else going to say about me? They're going to think I'm like a whore or something. That's the thoughts that come into a woman's mind when it comes to leaving their husbands because they're being abused. And it shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be like that. It is sad, but it's a reality. Like, no one really wants to talk about these things and bring light to these things. But I've seen it happen a couple of times, and you want to help, but you can't help somebody that doesn't want it. You can't insert yourself into that situation if they don't want it.
No, sis. And my parents, they're very good at like putting on a front, and it's really sad because I grew up having to walk on eggshells all the time, like making sure I didn't piss mum or dad off, or set them off to start fighting, and even that as a kid, like that is a big responsibility to have as a kid and to put on your kid, so you need to do the right thing, and you need to get the fuck out of there, sis, because abuse and domestic violence and like drinking and like drug addiction and someone who just sits on their ass and doesn't want to better themselves, like that's not a relationship, sis. You're basically being their fucking parent. And that, how can you focus on yourself and be your best self if you're having to put all your energy into this other person who genuinely doesn't give a fuck, and they've shown that.
Oh yeah, and it's easy for us to say all these things. I know in that situation it's very difficult to like.
It so is.
Oh yeah, like it's difficult to even be like, oh, am I in this situation? Like sometimes it becomes your norm. You don't think there's a problem, and like you can become isolated from your family because you think that they're like picking on your relationship, they're picking on your life choices, but sometimes all they want is the best for you. And I guess you kind of have to come to that realization yourself sometimes, I feel like, because like I said, it can just become a norm, and you just don't realize until like you're like, oh, wait a second, this is not normal. I'm not supposed to feel this way.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women feel like their man has a hold on them, and some people find like the controlling aspect of a relationship like attractive. And I don't want to be with someone that controls where I go, what I wear, what I say, who I talk to, because my husband's not like that at all. He doesn't give two fucks about what I wear or what I do, as long as there's trust in that relation. Yeah, like I don't want to be with a controlling man. Like, no. Why? What for? Like, you're not my dad. And even my dad
People ask me all the time, what does your boyfriend think about you posting your tits up? Like, yeah. I don't care what he thinks. He doesn't say anything. He heart reacts to my photos. Like, fuck up.
Cute. That's the thing. That's the type. It's healthy because it's like I can be my own person.
Yes, sis. And I think it's also important to note, though, that there are factors that kind of trap people in these fucking hideous relationships. There's financial restraints and like the fear of losing your home or not seeing your kids for a really long time, and those are things that I can definitely understand. But sis, in the long run, like, it's unhealthy to be staying in that relationship than it is to leave and have that space and have a breath into and there's no conflict. When you're constantly in conflict with your partner, and especially if you have children, that just wears you the fuck down. It just diminishes your self-worth, and at the end of the day, you like, of course you treat yourself like a queen, but you want someone that absolutely fucking loves you and would literally do anything for you. Not someone that comes up with lame ass excuses, and someone who fucking hits, fucking dongs you around. Like, that's not love.
No.
I don't even know what to call it.
That's just like abuse of power, because like people look at women like, oh, she can't do anything because she's small or whatever. And like you don't even have to
Yeah.
be small, but men think they're like so like, you know, strong and like, you know, I don't need no man. First of all, I don't need a man in my life to do nothing for me. I don't. If I have you, it's because I
Neither.
choose to keep you around. It's not because I need you. And I've made that very clear to my husband, and he understands what I mean by it. It's not to offend him in any way, but it's to tell him like I don't have this like princess syndrome where I need to be saved. I need
Right.
someone to
Right.
support me financially. I don't. I choose to have you around because I want to have you around, not because I need to have you around to fund my whatever
Yeah.
or to like because I need a man because you know everyone says I do. No, I want you around. That's why you're in my life. And I think that's a big difference because sometimes you may feel some like your partner if they're toxic they'll make you feel like you need them. Oh, like they'll make comments like
Yeah.
oh, if you leave me you're not going to be able to do this. If you leave me, you know, this won't happen for you. So you kind of feel stuck in a sense where you're like I can't do anything apart from be with this person because then I'll have all these things. But they're just material things, sis. Like make that happen for yourself. Be so independent that you can choose to have this person around, not that you need them.
Yep.
And that's always
Yep.
going to be my life motto. And
Yep.
it's not to offend anybody because obviously like you can be in a situation where your partner provides for you, and that's completely fine because you may, you know, provide
And
in a
that's
different
totally
way.
fine.
Yeah, as long as
Yeah.
it's healthy, it's completely fine. But like, I just don't want to be in a situation where I feel stuck and that I have to be with this person because they're telling me that I need them.
Right, so yeah. And I think it's also important to say that, you know, sometimes it's okay to just be fucking single, you know?
Yes.
And being single is so empowering because you have so many choices, you're not tied to anyone, you're not like committed to anything, like you can do whatever the fuck you want. And like if I could be honest and go back in time to when I first met my partner, like I kind of wished that I'd waited until I was in a much more better position in my own self so that I could give the best to the relationship. Like, obviously, like I've grown and I've learned over the time that we've been together, but you know, like, the beginning of our relationship, I was just an oblivious little girl. Like, I'll just say that. And, you know, there are certain things that I've learned not to do, and uh, I just wish that I'd let myself have some time to myself, be single, learn about who I am, and learn about what I want and all that shit. Before I jumped into a relationship. Although I'm happy and I love him, but if I'm being honest, if I didn't meet him, I would probably still be single.
I'm the same way. Like I feel like I wish I would have just learned to love myself and like understand my self-worth before I got into like a serious relationship because I don't think I gave it
Yeah,
my best either. Like, you know, like we're still learning a lot of things about each other. I know we've been together for so long, but it's every day is a learning curve and like we learn new things about each other and like we change. If you're not changing, you're not, you know, it's you have to be changing in order to be the best self, your best self. And like we change, our
yeah,
likes and dislikes change from time to time, and we grow as people. And like some of the things that we thought we wanted in life may not be the same in the next 5 years. We might want different things, you know. But like I guess it's just understanding each other in relationships that really resonate with me because you kind of have to sometimes compromise on things to make it work
oh
if you
yeah,
work. If you don't, that's fine as well.
yeah. Yes, sister. I feel like it's really important to give yourself that time, learn about yourself, because you know a lot of people jump into the relationship with the intentions of being complete. You know, like feeling sort of like some complete, you know, some wholeness.
Yes.
And you know you have to be whole on your fucking own, sis, you know, because at the end of the day, like if you put all of your value and your self-worth into your partner and into your relationship, and then all of a sudden it ends, you know, there goes all your self-worth, all your validation, all your, you know, your confidence. and you have to work to rebuild up. And that's why a lot of people, like, I'm not the type of person, like, once I'm done with a relationship, I'm not the type of person to go and jump straight back into another relationship. That's just not my style. I need time on my own. I need to figure myself out before, so I can give my best self to my next relationship.
Yeah, give yourself time to heal.
Fuck yeah. Like, I don't really understand people who can jump from relationship to relationship. Like, good on you, bub. But like, for me, I don't want to waste my fucking time. I want a husband. I want someone who wants to build a future. Like, I'm not wasting no fucking time. You know what I mean? So like, if you're gonna waste my fucking time, then you can boot it. You can get.
100%. Have you been cheated on before?
To be honest, sis, I think so, but like, I've never actually like found out about it until way after, and if anything, like, I don't know, but yeah,
I guess the important question
I
is,
don't.
have you cheated before?
Oh yeah, I have. Like, I'll say that openly. But this was when I was like a little girl, didn't know anything about relationships, and actually how harmful cheating can be, because it's like, it's damaging to the other person, and it just completely diminishes their self-worth. And that's why, again, it is so important to be whole as yourself, so that I mean, I've grown up without, much support from my parents, and I've really had to do a lot of hard work to be there for myself, and to figure out what I need and what my triggers are, and all those sorts of things. And even just like figuring out my toxic traits, like, there are certain things that I've noticed that I can do in my relationship sometimes that might be a little bit toxic. And sometimes you have to get really real with yourself and actually sit the fuck down and be like, okay, like, if you're having issues in your relationship, you also have to look within yourself and
Yeah.
admit that you're doing wrong. Because if you're not admitting it, then you're not going to make any changes to better yourself. You know what I mean? And that's not even just in relationships, that's in life in general.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you, because it's like, no one's perfect, and like, if you're having relationships, you should also
No.
see what is it that you're doing that may be, contributing to this issue. And I think most people fail to,
Yeah.
look within themselves for that issue and just blame everything on their partner. And part of being
Yep.
in a good
It's easier to
relationship,
blame someone else.
yeah, exactly, it's so easy to put the blame on, your partner, be like, you're the problem, I'm perfect, nothing's wrong. And I'm guilty of that. Sometimes I do that too. Like, why aren't you thinking like
Same.
me? You're not me, so you're not supposed to think like me. And I'm still learning. My relationship is not perfect, but we're working on it together. And like,
Neither.
having a kid, like, you
Yeah.
you learn so much about each other, because you're in a situation where you have a tiny human that, like, literally all they know is you, and all they love is you. So you kind of have to, like, navigate being a parent, being, a husband or a wife to somebody else, and having this new addition. It changes you sometimes, and you just kind of have to work together to be at a place where it's beneficial for both you and your child. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like sometimes we can just, like, overlook our own faults and blame the other person, because that's what we want to do. We just want to put them in a position
Yeah.
where they apologize to us and make us feel better, when in turn we
Yeah.
should be kind of doing that together and, coming to a resolution, because it can be exhausting sometimes to be in that situation where, you have a partner where they just, all they want to do is fight and create arguments
Don't have
because
the
they're
energy for it.
themselves. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think I've
Like,
been cheated on before, and I haven't cheated before.
you
I've only been with one
you're
person, like,
such a good girl.
and I married him. Because for me, in my head, it's like, if I'm with someone and I'm thinking about somebody else, I'm gonna leave this relationship because I'm not doing you justice.
Yeah, oh, totally. Like, when I did all my cheating and shit like that, I was like, what, 15, 16, but even looking back, I feel like such a piece of shit, because my boyfriend, he was actually a really, really, really lovely guy. And, you know, I hope like he's doing well in life now and all that. But, you know, looking back now, like what a fucking bitch. Like what a fucking asshole. You know, I crushed that boy, and you know, and I know that because of he told me, you know.
Yeah.
And if you're not happy, if the person that you're with is not enough for you, like don't let that be their problem. You need to move the fuck on, and you need to sort yourself out, because
And
at the end of the day, you know, it's about you. You know, like you've got to look inside yourself, like, you know, and not put the blame on other people, like you said, sis.
yeah, and I feel like sometimes some people are scared to be alone, and like they don't know how to be alone. Like we said before, it's okay to be single.
Hmm.
Like you need to respect yourself enough to leave a relationship where it's not benefiting you or it's not benefiting the other person. And like you're not going to be lonely forever unless you choose to be. Bless you. You know when we're speaking and you sneeze, we in like our household we say you're telling the truth. It's like confirmation of the truth. I mean, it's just what I
Yeah.
obviously we're not like professional like relationship professionals, and like we all have faults and stuff, but like if you need advice, or if like once again if you want to talk about any issues that you're going through, domestic violence, any hardships that you may be going through, like feel free to message us. We'll try and help you as much as we can. We'll try to direct you to, you know, organizations that can help you, whether you're in Australia or New Zealand.
Resources.
Yes, yes. And, you know, if you need a friend to listen to your problems, we're here to do that too. So please feel free to contact us. You're never going to be a burden on anybody. Sometimes you need to share what's going on to feel like, you know, you need some validation sometimes of, yep, this is actually happening to me. And
Yeah.
that's, you know, sometimes we kind of feel embarrassed. There's no need to feel embarrassed at all.
So, you know, sex and dating and like going out on dates and doing nice things with your partner are just so important, you know. Life gets in the way, kids get in the way, work gets in the way, whatever, and then you start to act like flatmates, you know what I mean? Flatmates that fuck every now and again.
So
And
true.
you know, you've really got to keep that spice alive, and you've got to keep, you know, the excitement going. Otherwise, you know, it's you just lose it, and it it just ends up feeling kind of like a friendship, and then the love kind of fades out into like a friendship love. And you know, I try, you know, my partner and I, because like we work, like he's got a pub and like I do my shit. Um, you know, he's busy with Mahi all the fucking time. He lives there, you know, and so we've really got to consciously make time and effort, you know, to reconnect and to have time together, and you know, all that sort of thing, because love and relationships is hard work. Like people just think
Yeah.
that you just get into a relationship, you get married, and you do life together, which, you know, to an extent that is true. But at the same time, like you've got to keep that spice alive. Like, are there any? How do you and old Nav keep the spice going, sister?
Well, we're like, I told him, like, just because we're married or just because we live together
Hmm.
doesn't mean that we stop, you know, going out together, doing things together, having genuine time together. Just because we have a kid, it shouldn't change much,
Yeah,
you know? Obviously, it changes
yeah,
over time, it'll change, but like, I told him we need to like start because we're having issues at the moment. So I said to him, we need to start dating each other. You know, we need to start organizing dates. I said, you
yeah,
know, even if we're busy, let's do at least once a month we do something together. Let's, you know, I can plan one night, you can plan one night. It doesn't have to cost anything. As long as we're together and we're unplugged from our phones and devices, I'm happy because I need to still have that connection with you because I don't want this relationship to feel like a chore. Like, oh, I gotta talk to him.
right,
Oh,
sis. And
you know,
how I
I
was
want.
talking to you the other day, how I've set. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
No, no, go ahead.
Like how the other day I was saying to you, sis, you know, I'm really bossy when it comes to like being on our phones when we're together, because obviously we don't get to spend a lot of time together because we're always working. I'm really staunch on like, right, let's put our phones down, let's talk, like let's just be present in the moment, and appreciate each other's company, because that is so hard to come by, as with how fast paced the world is these days, with how much we have to work, and also with the distraction of like phones and social media and all that shit. You can really start to lose that real connection, and it's something that you definitely have to maintain and consciously do it as well.
100%. Don't get complacent, they say.
Nah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like for now, like for men, I feel like they like, okay, we're married now. I have her. It's fine. Let's not do anything
Yeah.
anymore. And like, we used to go out on dates and stuff, and now we don't, because we're so busy with like our full-time jobs, our kid. Like we sometimes, like on the weekends, we just don't want to do anything. But like,
Yeah.
like you said, like it just, I'm trying to do the whole no phones thing now. So I'll let you know how that goes, because I'm really interested in that, because we don't pay attention to each other, because we're just like, yeah, and how was your day? I don't want that anymore. I want like a genuine conversation. And when he comes home, I do ask him about his day, like, how was your day, what did you do today? And I'll like ask follow-up questions, so that he feels like, okay, she actually does give a fuck about what I do. And like, because during the day he's so busy,
It's
he
the
doesn't
little things.
yeah, he doesn't have a chance to text me and be like, how are you? So like, I don't expect him to be like, on the phone texting me all day, because you're at work. You do a physical job. I don't want you to get injured because you were calling me or texting me. So when you come home, let's like, spend 10 minutes together and like have a conversation about your day, because those little things are what, makes him feel important. And like, because I want to be treated that way, so I treat him that way.
Yep. Amazing. Treat people
Yeah.
how you want to be treated. You
Yeah.
you you ultimately, in your relationship, you show your partner how you want to be loved by how you treat them. So it's so important
Yes.
to whatever expectations you have around like spending time with your partner and whatever, you have to reciprocate and meet halfway. Because like, bro, so many fucking girls live in a fantasy world thinking, oh, my boyfriend's going to take me out on date night like every week, and he's going to plan it every week. Like, no, bitch, we've got to do cute things as well. And I feel like as a society, people have this like real Prince Charming and like, Cinderella type fantasy, and think that, it's all about the man doing for the lady. But like us as women, bitch, we've got to come to the party too, and keep that spice alive. I mean, so it's like, my partner and I have been together for a little while now, on and off, obviously, but like, we still fuck like we're 18 years old. Like, I don't
Oh,
give a fuck. Like, that's my, like, getting tingles thinking about it. Nah. But,
calm down,
so many
sis.
women,
Save that.
oh, sorry, getting a bit hot. But so many people, like, just think that, like, after a certain amount of time, like, wow, okay, like our passion and our attraction to each other has, like, obviously dwindled over the years, because we've just been together forever and we're just used to each other. But no, you have to, like, if you want to keep that relationship alive, just like, fuck like you're in high school, please do it in the car, do it anywhere. Like, oh, bitch, so many people, like, lose that spark and lose that romance because they're not willing to, have a shower, have a quick fuck once a week, and then off to bed. Like, girl,
I heard this like big sister advice on TikTok. They said, when you're getting intimate, pretend like their ex is watching you. They're like, you put on the best performance ever.
always 100. And if you're tired, sis, then you're tired. Just try tomorrow.
Yeah, because for me,
Oh,
when it comes to that, like for me, I gotta be good up here with you. Like if we're not, because I don't know, like being intimate is very different for me. So like I need to be good up here. I always tell my husband like, you
same.
gotta like fuck me up here before anything else can happen. Okay, because
Yeah,
otherwise, like I'm not into it,
yeah,
and that's just that. Like I'm just very, I don't know, weird about that.
No, I fully understand what you're saying, sis. Like, you have to be mentally, like, attracted to someone, like, in your head, you know, and you have to, you know, if you're with a partner that just fucks you off, that everything that does annoys you, that is going to turn you off, and that is going to
Yeah.
start to cause problems, you know?
Yeah,
So, no, I fully
100%. Like,
understand what
we
you're
gotta be
saying.
good,
Fully.
be solid. I gotta be happy, and then things can happen. Otherwise, like, I'm not into it. I don't want to look at you. Don't breathe my way. Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. Like, I'm just very like, I just yeah. I'm just like that, and I feel like I don't know. I don't think everyone's like that, but just for me, it's like just don't look at me today.
No.
Don't breathe my way today. We're not. We're done. Like, you know, I'm just
Yeah.
not.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, fuck, you're funny.
Oh, that's just how
Oh,
it is for
ho.
me.
But no, fully, sis. Fully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Final thoughts are learn what your partner wants as well. I think knowing
Yeah.
that you can
Yeah.
have a healthy
Super
relationship. You can,
important.
yeah, it is important. I think we just have all these unrealistic expectations of our partner because, like you said, media, they show us that we need to be treated like princesses and we need someone to save us and
Mm-hmm.
we need to have date nights that they plan, they pay for. But sometimes you need to do those things for them as well. They need to feel like how you want to be, you know, treated. So you treat them that way as well. And then it can be reciprocated. That's the
Yeah.
word I want
Hard
to
out,
use. Yeah.
sis.
Yeah. And I'm guilty of that. So I'm learning to change that. And, you know, therapy is
Same.
good in any form. It's good. We've learned from it. Like even just going to one session because of COVID, we can't go to any more. But going through one session, we've
Oh,
learned so much from each other, you know, like, oh, okay, like this is what they like. And if I do what they like and they do what I like, we can have a great relationship. So we're still learning, and it's always going to be us learning. It's never going to be perfect, and I don't expect perfect.
nah, neither, sis. And like that's another good thing to kind of end this off with is, you know, no one's really perfect, and we're all just humans navigating ourselves, you know, through this crazy fucking world. Like I said before in the last episode, there's no handbook for this shit. You know, there's no rules, there's nothing written on paper as to, you know, how a relationship should run. There's
Yeah,
obviously societal standards, but at the same time, like you have to set your own expectations in your own relationship so that you and your partner can live happily ever after.
100%. So in closing, if you liked this video, please like, subscribe to our channel, and click on the notification bell so that you know when we post. We post once a week. And follow our social media. All the handles will be in the description box below. Don't forget to message us if you need any help or if you want to talk. Thank you for watching.
Bye!
Peace out.